Hello and welcome to Wildcard from MUNPR, coming to you not live from our studio on the third floor of the Student Union, straight to your ears. I'm your host, Caleb Lantz, and this is the second in our series of interviews with the candidates for First Year Outreach Co-Ordinator. For a brief explanation of the job of FYOC and the structure of these interviews, check out our interview with Jonah Lehmann. MUNPR has reached out to every candidate to schedule an interview, and at the time of this recording, we have scheduled or recorded interviews with 5 of the remaining 9 candidates. My guest today is our second ever returning guest on the show after we spoke to her during her bid for membership chair earlier this semester. Brooke Wilson is a first year from Soddy Daisy, Tennessee, served as a crisis staffer for the Hatfield-McCoy JCC at 10-2 in September, and she will doubtless be serving a crucial role at Volman 11 in the spring, whatever position she gets. Brooke has traveled to Airmonk 6 and Nixick 53 with the club, and despite being in the club for only 3 months, she already has electoral experience as she mounted a strong candidacy for membership chair as the nominee of the Bingoist Party. Brooke, welcome back to the show.
It is so great to be here, Caleb.
Of course, glad to have you back. All right, jumping right into it. First question, what inspired you to run for FYOC?
Well, when I look back at the creation of my bingo party, back in the wonder months of, what was this, August to September, I thought, well, I'm a firm believer in the statement, second time's the charm. Mm-hmm. So I'm coming back. I'm coming back stronger than ever, and I'm coming back with bingo.
Of course.
Once again.
Of course. Bingo was his name-o, as they say.
Amen. I say that every night.
All right. So the First Year Outreach Coordinator is meant to be the primary representative of first-year members of the club on the executive board. With such a large cadre of first-year members of the club, at least 14 by my count, how do you plan to make sure all of their voices are heard?
Well, as my love for bingo shows, I am very passionate. If there's one word to describe me, it would be passionate. And I think that I am good at listening to people because of how passionate I am. I think that with my ability to listen and their ability to talk, we can create a wonderful union of voices where I will be able to present their opinions. I also think, too, that naturally I am very loud, and if I'm told something, I will repeat it until someone listens to me. And I think that's the type of representation that our first-year members need.
Yeah, for sure. Extroversion is always a good quality for an FYOC.
In theory,
I suppose.
There's a reason I don't have a roommate.
All right, moving on to our memories question. Left, middle, or right? You trying to read the writing through the cards?
Never. I'm just looking at lines and I'm thinking which one looks best because they're all 3 different types of ones. Let's go for middle.
Middle, all right. What is the biggest sacrifice you've ever made?
Oh, I'm going to have to think on that one for a second. I don't know. See, and the problem is this is a live recording, so I have to think in real time, and I can't. I'm going to flip.
Oh,
yep.
Damn it.
Yep.
They always flip the one question I have not thought of an answer
I've
to.
done this to you twice now.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of myself.
What is the biggest sacrifice I've ever made? Shit. God, I'm suddenly unable to think of a single sacrifice I've ever made in my entire life. Fuck.
Not so easy when
yeah, I know.
When it lands on your side, is it? Mm-hmm. This is great for me.
How about we both skip this one?
Actually, I have my answer now.
Okay.
You don't get to skip because that's not previously stated. Yeah, so I'm going to talk now, and then you're going to tell me.
Okay.
Fun fact, this is actually my show now because I'm telling you what to do. I would say for me, my junior year of high school, my father had an infection that ended up with him getting sepsis, and he was in the hospital for 2 to 3 weeks. And for those of you who don't know on this show, I don't have that great of a relationship with my father. And so when he was in the hospital, my mom and I were looked at as the people who were supposed to take care of him once he got out. And so the entirety of my junior year and into my senior year, it was me and my mom having to sacrifice daily to make sure that my dad got the care he needed. He came home with a PICC line. He had to move in with us because he obviously wasn't able to take care of himself. For anyone who doesn't know, sepsis is actually horrible to go through. And it's even worse when you know that, you caught it right in time. And so it was a lot of, in-home nurses coming in, me having to make sure that he was good when he got, or when I got home from school. And so I was balancing, all these different things. But I sacrificed a lot just in making sure that my father was taken care of. I sacrificed a lot of my mental kind of health, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's hard to be in a room with someone who you have sort of tensions with and still be the person who's responsible for taking care of them. Just a lot of things like that where, we had to make a lot of shifts in our life to suit him and make sure that he was, in good hands and that obviously he wasn't about to die again because he got pretty close. And so I think for me, that's probably like one of the biggest sacrifices I've made. Yeah,
for sure. I feel really bad because I finally thought of one and it's way, way, way less serious than that.
All traumas are valid.
The summer after I got my driver's license, my parents were pretty strict growing up and like all the way through high school. And my friends were going to the lake, and I asked my mom, my parents worked, so they weren't home, and I asked if I could go to the lake with them. And I remember my mom asking if there were going to be any adults there, or she asked if there were going to be any adults or lifeguards there. And I said yes, which was technically true because probably there would be there would be adults at the lake.
This is true.
And my friend Melissa was technically a lifeguard at the city pool.
This is true.
That is not what they had in mind. And when they found out that that's what I meant, they were like, no, you can't go. And I went anyway. And then they were like, if you don't come home right now, you're grounded for, a month. And I decided to go anyway because I figured it would be fun. And I stand by that. I had a great time. I don't regret getting grounded for a month over that.
See, and you sacrificed your mental health of staying inside for a month.
Yeah.
You just didn't touch grass. Okay.
I did not. No, was this the last summer before COVID?
That would place it about right.
Because I got my license in spring 2019. Yeah, this would have been the summer before COVID hit. Yeah, so this was the last normal summer. All right, moving on. Next question. What is the central message of your campaign? BINGO. I think we knew this from the beginning, honestly. I would say that the central message of my campaign is that, once again, I'm passionate. My love for bingo is also my love for every single first year member that is a part of MUN. I will do my best and my darndest to make sure that you are heard and you are represented. And I think that's it. My love for bingo consumes. I think I'm able to spread that with people, and I think that's my central message is BINGO. Yeah. Bingo was his name, though. There you go. It's important to recognize your own brand. Mm-hmm. All right. Historically, UTK MUN always brings in a large crop of first-year members who slowly atrophy over the years. Speaking from my year, of the 21st years that I came in with, by the time we finished our undergrad, only 5 of us were still active members of the club. The classes of 2026, 27, and 28 have seen similar rates of loss. How would you address this problem and ensure that the class of 2029 stays involved with the club? I think a lot of that just comes down to making sure everyone feels heard and feels like when they present a problem, that they know that, it's actively being dealt with. I would say that a lot. I'm not going to speak to your year or, the 2 years above me. However, I will speak to the fact that sometimes I feel like things can get lost in crosstalk, and not saying that that's the cause of why so many people left. Life happens. But rather, I think I would focus on making sure that every person felt like a member of the club and like they weren't just there to go to a conference or just there to staff something and then they're gone the next week and they don't have to come to anything. I'd want it to be a lot more involved with people because I think that is truly what keeps people, continually doing something. I think you can speak to that from your experience in MUN. You probably wouldn't be here if you weren't senior advisor, if I had to guess. I mean, I'd still be here just because of all the people I met through the club. But it's through the involvement helps. Yeah. It definitely helps. And I'm saying that just because you're the first person that I saw, because you're the only person in this room. But I would say that just making sure that people feel involved, feel engaged, that there's something for everyone, and it's not just, this one event that we have, and that's all we have. Because I've at least experienced this myself. There are certain events that aren't catered towards me. And, I really would love if we would have other events that would cater towards some of, a different crowd of people, if that makes sense, just so we feel more involved with everything. Would they perhaps relate to cards with numbers on them and like a little cage of some sort that balls come out of? I mean, that's what I dream of when I go to sleep.
So I'm
Some
not
people
gonna
count
say,
sheep, you count bingo balls?
I count bingo balls, yes. B7, I-15. That's what I think of in my head. And those are actual correct numbers for that because bingo works off of a certain system with the numbers, in case you didn't know.
I certainly did not.
You're welcome for that.
You should make a bingo video essay. I'm sure it would do numbers.
Oh, yeah. I would kill on YouTube. That would do numbers. I'd get my AdSense in one video. Anyways, long story short of what I'm getting to here is just that I think making sure that every person in the club feels seen, making sure that, they have an outlet for them to kind of connect with other members of the club that's not, as mainstream, I guess, is what this club is known for, I think would really help. And just making sure that when something is brought up by one of those members that makes them not want to be a part of MUN, that they feel like they have someone to go to, someone to talk to, and that person can equally represent them and say, hey, we need to stop this. That's undermining them, or they don't agree with that. They don't feel respected if we continue on this path. And I am an advocate. I will be an advocate to keep people in this club because I think it is something special.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on to our insights question. Left, middle, or right?
Can I see what the 2 on the left one looks like? I'm going to go with that one because it looks so fun.
What have you learned to be careful about?
Oh. When you say careful, what do you mean?
I'll leave that up to you to interpret.
And I don't like that. It's going to take a second because I know some things, but I don't know if they fit your definition of what you want. So what are some things that I try to be careful of? Was that the question?
Something you've learned to be careful about.
Something I've learned to be careful about. I have a few things, honestly. I'm a trial by fire person, so, I do have a few things that I have learned to be careful of. Oh gosh. I guess the first one, see, and now it's like, I gotta think. Goodness, this is worse than the last question.
Yeah, and you can't flip this one.
I can't flip. I could skip, but I'm not going to. Mom didn't raise a pussy. Anyways. Let's see. Something I've learned to be careful of. I think especially with my time in this club, it's knowing that opinions are different and all opinions are valid. And I say careful of that in the sense that, I don't want to say something that's going to make someone else feel, uncomfortable, or that me sharing my opinion makes them put me in a different view. If that makes sense, I don't want people to look at me and be like, oh, well, she doesn't care about anybody's opinion but her own. I hope people don't look at me that way. I try not to be that way. If I am, please tell me, Caleb, because all you're doing is nodding at me.
I'm letting you talk.
Anyways, and I don't appreciate that. I will ramble, level impossible. Anyways, but I would say that for me, a lot of it is making sure that I hear other people's opinions and making sure that I know what they want and what they expect out of something. That's especially something that I've learned to be careful of because it's I don't want to just do something and then have it not be the correct way. Let's see. I have another one. This is going to sound crazy to you.
Okay.
I've learned to be careful about when I choose to speak and when I choose not to.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I know that I'm known for being a loudmouth. I know that I'm known for being particularly extravagant. I know this about myself. However, I don't try to just yell any chance I get, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. If you think I do, you're welcome to interject and tell me I'm stupid. However, I do talk a lot. I get that. That's usually when I'm comfortable. However, when it comes down to it, I know when I need to speak and when I don't need to speak. And if I am speaking when I don't need to speak, also want this on the record. I know it, and I'm just doing it for a bit. So leave me alone there. However, when things come down to it, I have learned, when I kind of need to interject and when I don't. Mm-hmm. And I learned that a lot, especially in high school, and into now. You've got to pick your battles, I guess, if that kind of makes sense. You've got to pick when you want to interject into something, all that stuff. I've learned a lot. Let's see. What's something else I'm careful of? I think I'm careful of knowing my limits, mm-hmm. if that makes sense. I had to learn that. Especially, I will say this, in high school, I was really bad about not being able to say no to stuff. And so I would say, yeah, I can be part of that. Yeah, I can help you with that. Yeah, I'll be in a leadership position for XYZ, whatever it is, And it got to a point where I wasn't taking care of myself. And so I guess something that I've learned from that is that I need to prioritize not only time for myself, but also time that I can actually give to people, if that makes sense. And, you know, I try to give my 110% to anything that I do. And so it was this is probably my biggest lesson that I've learned, honestly. But it's knowing that I don't have to say yes to everything, and knowing that when I choose to say yes, that should be my actual obligation rather than trying to be available to everyone. That's a big one for me. So
yeah, for sure. All right, moving on. So, as you know, our elections are conducted in a ranked choice voting system. So of your opponents, which are, just as a reminder, Wyatt Finn, Jazzlyn Horner, Elizabeth and William Kitts, Jonah Lehmann, Brenna Loudon, Ava Oldham, and Mason Rucker, who will you be ranking second and third on your ballot?
Who's to say I'm ranking myself first? Let's start there. I'm always one to not put myself first. I say that, I will be putting myself first. Of course. I don't see Sliwa in this race. So I wish. Sliwa for Gotham, guys. Sliwa for Gotham. Anyways, let's see. I think out of everybody, and this might be because Jonah and I have a deal, and I really want to see if he pulls through with it, I would probably say Jonah. And then for third, I'm forgetting the names as we speak. I would say, I think Brenna could do really good. Not to say Jonah can't, but I'm just saying, or any of the rest of them can't. I'm just saying, I think that's probably where I'd put everybody. I'm not saying that I'd put Jonah second for just this reason, but I'm hoping that Jonah and I stick firm in endorsing each other.
Right.
So
the Mom Donnie Lander play.
Yeah.
All right. So the position of FYOC has traditionally been seen as the first rung on the ladder of elected office in the club. Of the 6 FYOCs that I can name, 4 of them went on to serve on exec in another position the following year. After your term concludes in November 2026, do you plan to pursue further office in the club, whether elected or appointed?
Yes.
All right.
Do I need to explain that?
You don't have to, no.
That's perfect.
All right.
I like to keep myself as mysterious as possible.
Perfect. All right. Moving on to our final question here. Beliefs. Left, middle, or right?
This is going to get fun, isn't it? I've gone left. I've gone middle. I haven't gone right, but I don't like the right. I'm left-handed. So let's go middle again.
Middle again.
I am independent.
Have you ever had a premonition about something that came true?
Every single day of my life. God, it's horrible. I'm about to sound like such a voodoo witch doctor. Not to say there's anything wrong with that, guys. I want that on the record if this ever comes back to bite me. Let's see. I've had a lot of things that I felt premonitions about. I could take you back to when I was 9 years old, and I still remember it briskly in my mind. But that would be a really awkward story just to tell. And would probably make you feel even worse about me. Let's see. See, that's because this is a normal thing for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I do get feelings about things, and usually I'm right, which is scary. Honestly, coming to UT, if that's crazy enough. I'm gonna tell you too because this one isn't as fun as the other one. But I would say that when I applied to UT, I didn't really feel. And I'm going to admit to this. I'm not going to deny it. When I applied to UT, I didn't really feel committed to the school, if that makes sense. I didn't know if UT was right for me. I remember going on the tour and telling my mom, all this school cares about is football, and I don't care for that.
You weren't super wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was my observation going in through a tour.
Yeah.
So that's scary. And I remember I came to Nuval Admit Day or whatever. This is like a campaign for UT, so you're welcome. But I came to Nuval Admit Day, and I had kept on getting emails. This is really going to tick some people off. I kept on getting emails from the Baker School. And the reason I say it's going to tick some people off is because I said, you know what the heck? Who needs to be a poli-sci major? Who needs to be a poli-sci major? And so I said, I'm going to walk myself to Baker. I'm going to see what this is about. I ended up getting put into a conversation with the dean, with the person who technically founded the school, all of the chairs over each department, which is crazy for a freshman. Want that on the record.
Yeah.
I don't know how I had swing like that, but I did. And so they ended up being yeah, well, you should definitely transfer in, transfer over to us. We'd love to have you. And that was the first time that I felt confident I guess, in this school. That sounds horrible. And it was also July. Keep that in mind, guys. That was the first time that I felt confident in my choices to come to this school and to, kind of be a part of something. Not saying anything bad about poli-sci, but I just found that, I felt like I was a little bit more, I guess, involved when I was included in Baker or when I was invited to join Baker. And even then, that was obviously premonition. And then I'm taking an econ class. This is going to sound crazy. And he made the statement, which solidified my, I'm happy here, which was, you can take an Ivy League school and they can take the cream of the crop and they're going to give you the cream of the crop. He said, that's just how it works. He said, but for those who want to know, Professor Jeffrey Lee, love that man. But he also made the statement that, if you take a school that's not seen as an Ivy League and they're able to take people from all walks of life and turn them into some of the cream of the crop, that's what you want to look at, because they're actually, increasing those people's wealth, and they're actively changing them in a way that makes them better. Whereas if you look at an Ivy League, they're patting their head, telling them that they're good, and they're just moving them along because they know they're going to be good. But when you take, the atmosphere with UT, it's going through, you're going through a change enough to where you come out as a better person. And that was the point that he made. And it's been living in the back of my mind because I'm like, holy crap, this is actually really great. And it was one of those solidifying moments where it was everything is going to be all right. And I guess that was kind of just what I needed, if that makes sense. The other one is a lot funnier and doesn't mention a professor at UT. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So when I was 9, picture it. 9. Saudi Day. No, I wasn't living in Sale Creek at this time. Sale Creek, Tennessee.
Okay.
Beautiful little town. Maybe 3,000 residents. I don't actually know. Incredibly tiny. We're living there. My stepdad tells my mom, I think I'm gonna quit my job and go to this other job because they're giving me a really good offer. And I overheard this with my gargantuan ears. And I heard that and I was like, that doesn't feel right. I don't like it. Kept on saying I don't like it. And so I walked down from my room, walk into their room. I said, I don't know why, but I don't think you should take that job offer. That's stupid. Don't do it. I don't feel good about it. Well, he took the job offer. And about 6 months later, he wanted to quit. So I like to think that I really called it on that one as a 9-year-old, which was great. Actually, I was way older than 9. I think I was 12. But regardless of that, I also predicted a death in my family, which we don't need to get into because that actually happened 2 months ago.
Ooh.
Yeah, we had went to a funeral for 2 of our other members of our family because they both died within 48 hours of each other.
Ooh.
We went to their funeral, one of their funerals, went to his funeral, and then on the car ride home, I told my mom, I was like, I think we're going to miss somebody else. I think there's somebody else that's sick. Yeah. I was right. So, if you guys ever want to, get seen by a fortune teller, just let me know. I can tell you if you're about to die. It was disgusting. I hate myself for it. And I actually guessed the person before they died, so that was great. Anyways, fun fact for you. And I just gave you 3. You're welcome.
Sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay. I've made my peace with it.
Well, congratulations, Brooke. You've won Wild Card once again.
Yay!
For your prize, we're going to end the episode the same way we do every time, with a trip in our memory time machine, as you know. Now, the memory time machine has not changed since the last time we were on the show. All you have to do is close your eyes. Now, think of a moment in your life, not a moment you want to forget or change anything about, just somewhere you'd like to linger a little longer. What moment do you choose?
Oof. I'm not closing my eyes because that freaks me out. I want to keep it the same as last time, but I want to give you guys another insight into my life because this has felt like a trauma dump, and I want to keep it going. This is going to take a minute. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a fun memory. Yeah, you're going to have to give me a minute.
Okay, take your time.
This has been a long episode. I apologize. I'm looking at the student union. Or not that student union. I'm looking at the clock tower, and I'm channeling my wisdom to get something into my brain that's different than last time, and it's not working. I think I'm going to go back, way back, to when I was approximately 3 years old. I'm saying approximately because I don't actually know, and I can't tell time. I'm going to say when I was 3, I was still living in Georgia at this time in my life. And, you know, I can picture it. Sicily 1982 style. And it's me. And I'm at my karaoke machine that I mentioned at the beginning of this. And I was happy, and I was wild, and I was free. And I think I was singing the happy birthday song from my Hello Kitty karaoke machine.
A classic.
It might not have been the Hello Kitty karaoke machine. It probably was a different song. No, it definitely was a different song. That was on the other CD that I'm talking about. Anyways, and I still picture that Hello Kitty CD or Hello Kitty karaoke machine in my, you know, peripheral. It's up there, and I want to keep that in my life forever.
Yeah,
I was happy, young, and free.
Yeah,
I peaked at 3.
that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
All right, well, before we go, you've got the next 45 seconds to speak directly to the voters. Yep, the floor is yours.
Did it start?
Yes.
Oh, that's so great. Thank you for telling me that it started, Caleb Lantz.
I said the floor is yours.
Well, yeah, but you didn't specify when the time started. Anyways, you're speaking in my time. Let's see. To all of my fellow first years that are watching this right now and have seen this train wreck of a podcast episode, I just want to say I'm here for you and I care for you. Even if I don't win this bingo, and I will still be there for you. I guess I don't know if I have anything else to say, but I'm going to keep on rambling because I like to see how long you can keep this going. How much you can't tell me how much time I have. You're just looking at this clock ominously, and I don't like the fact that I can't see it. And I think that's something I would change as your FYOC, because this is not fair to us. Oh, I have 10 seconds. Oh boy. I also would like to put in there that the Firefly memory is also still in my brain, and I would take that one over the karaoke machine memory, but I love my karaoke machine.
Thank you, Brooke. All right, well, that does it for this episode of Wildcard from MUNPR. Thank you so much to Brooke for coming on to do this interview with us.
Thank you.
As a reminder, the FYOC election is Thursday, November 20th at 7:15 p.m. sharp in Student Union Room 169. Western business attire is required for all candidates, and candidates and voters must have cleared any money owed to the club in order to qualify. Stay tuned to our channel over the next few days for the rest of our FYOC interviews and the last few exec interviews, and I will see you Thursday.